Just before last weekend, a huge news story broke, and that is the first arrest in the murder of the rapper and actor Tupac Shakur has happened. And today I want to talk to you about two things in relationship to that arrest. I want to talk to you about closure, and I want to talk to you about justice. But before I do, just a reminder, my name is Elliott Connie and I'm a licensed psychotherapist. And what I like to do on this channel and in this series, Therapist React, is highlight the psychological and psychotherapeutic aspects of popular news stories and things going on in pop culture so that we can elevate our mental health and be a better society. This story is a massive, massive deal. Like, just to take you back to 1996, I remember Tupac, who had been shot before and involved in shooting before where he almost lost his life. He was involved in a lot of incidents back then, if you can think back to the 90s, those of you around in the 90s. I remember getting to a friend's car, and there was no streaming music back then. He had a tape, a cassette tape, and he put it in his car and he played it, and I heard the song Hit 'Em Up. Now, in the hip hop rap culture, there are diss records. Like, if one rapper doesn't like another rapper make a song or even an album about that rapper that he doesn't like. And Hit 'Em Up was Tupac made a song about Biggie, and it was the most vicious diss record anyone had ever heard. And I remember sitting in that car, listening to that album, and my friend turned to me and said, Tupac ain't gonna live much longer. And sure enough, he did not. There was a shooting that occurred. Now, I bring up that song because part of the conspiracy about Tupac's death was because he made that song, Biggie and his close friend Sean P. Diddy Combs, or Puff Daddy as he was known at that time, hired someone to kill Tupac in retaliation for this song. But it turns out the explanation is far more simple. On the night of Tupac's murder, he was in Las Vegas at a Mike Tyson boxing event, and he ran into somebody who had stolen a chain, reportedly, and jumped him. Tupac and his entourage, Suge Knight included, jumped this person. And this person, a known gangster, a known violent gangster, later was accused of killing Tupac. That person's now dead. But I want to talk to you about justice, and then I want to talk to you about closure. The person who was recently arrested is a known gang member named Keefe D. Now, the reason why justice is really important is if you go on YouTube and you do a search for Keefe D, you will find interviews for years of Keefe D admitting to be a part of the shooting, admitting to being in the car, and he describes things that only someone who is a part of this violent assault would know. He talks about Suge Knight's reaction when the bullets started happening. He talked about Tupac Shakur's reaction as he was being shot. He says things that he mentioned there were 3 people in the car. Keefe D claims he was sitting in the passenger seat. There was another person in the car named Big Dre who didn't want to do the shooting, or at least got cold feet, as he described in one of these interviews, gave the gun to Orlando Anderson, who according to Keefe D was the shooter. And like, these are things that only someone present would know. And he has been giving interviews like this for years. So if you're wondering why people within the hip hop community, people of color, if you wonder why we think justice is harder achieved for us, it's stuff like this. He is openly admitting that he was a part of what led to the shooting. He was openly admitting he was in the car and describing the circumstances of the shooting. And for years, no one did anything. He's been doing this for years in really popular interview platforms. He's been doing this for years, and no one arrested him until last weekend. We have to think about, like, justice should be blind. If you've ever been in a courtroom, which I've been in a courtroom, my best friend's a prosecutor, and there's always a statue, and the statue is blinded because justice should be blind. But I don't always think that it is, because the hip hop community and the gangster community has known this for years. For years. It makes me think of another murder that was infamous, and that is the murder of Malcolm X, where 3 people went to prison and had nothing to do with the crime. Had absolutely nothing to do with the crime. But everybody in the New Jersey community knew who the shooter was. And there's a documentary on Netflix about that. If you don't believe me, go check it out. It'll highlight all of this. But anyway, back to Tupac. Justice should be blind. And when someone is doing an interview, openly admitting a role they played in a murder, they should be arrested the same day the interview gets published because it went out to millions of people. So let's have blind justice. And when there is no justice, there is often a psychological impact that negatively impacts the person's life. The second thing I want to talk about is closure. Closure is incredibly healthy for your mental capacity. I mean, closure is good for your mental health. Closure is necessary for your mental health. When things go undone, unanswered, unaddressed, we struggle with that. Like, we just want answers. We get to a place where we just want answers, even if the answer is something we might not enjoy. I'm someone, I love watching like crime series and reality shows and all those sorts of things. And you'll see these families with a missing family member saying, we just want to know. Like, we've accepted that the person is probably deceased, but we just want to know what happened. And I'm so happy for the families and people close to Tupac Shakur because they're going to get answers. And someone who did this is going to be held accountable. Imagine being a family member of Tupac Shakur. I was in an event with Tupac Shakur's sister earlier this year. And imagine knowing that there's somebody doing interviews talking about your sibling, and the night that he participated in the sibling's murder, and nothing happens. It doesn't feel good. It's not right. It's not good. And now they get answers, now it gets addressed, and now someone's held accountable. And that is very, very good for our mental health. So I'm very happy for the family and the people close to Tupac Shakur. I'm very happy that there's going to be answers, justice, and some finality to this story. But I hope going forward we can do better and help people achieve justice sooner, especially when one of the participants in a violent crime like this murder has been openly admitting it for years and nothing has been happening. Remember that, guys. Like, closure is important and justice is important, because justice is very much connected to our mental health and our societal mental health. The absence of justice leads to riots and uproars and uprisings and challenges and social disharmony at best, like really violent rage. So I think we need to have a better focus on justice. And it is okay to pursue closure, even if it takes 30 years. And I'm very happy for the family and people close to Tupac Shakur, because they will now be achieving justice. So thanks for watching this video. There are moments in my life where I remember where I was when I heard it. And I remember where I was when I heard that Tupac Shakur had passed away. So what did you think of this story when you found out that someone had been arrested for this murder? What did you think of this video? Please leave a comment below. I read every single comment. I respond to most of them. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And also, please support this channel by subscribing. I really love y'all. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. I can't do this without you. So please hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell so you get notified each and every time we release a video on the Therapist React series, which is every single day, Monday through Friday. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next video.